Hello, loves. How are you? I'm Jessica. This is my new video blog. I've been doing some Facebook Live videos before, and I feel like I want to reach more people. And so I've created this YouTube channel where I'm going to be posting these videos now. And I'm going to do my best to do one once a week. And if you find that I'm not posting one that week, then hold me accountable. Send me an email or contact me on Facebook and say, hey, where's the video? Where's the blog? Today, I wanted to talk about Survivor and what that means, and how many people in the world who are or consider themselves survivors today are being triggered with the things happening in our world at the moment and happening in the news and are being repeated over and over in the news, and how that can um, not be very beneficial for our health mentally or physically, right? I wanted to talk about what survivor actually means for me and talk about the definition of it first. And in the dictionary, the definition of survivor is one who copes with difficulties in life. And for me, if I was living my life by just coping well with difficulties all the time, that's not really a life that feels like it's growth for me, or that it's going anywhere or moving forward. And if you look in the dictionary at the word thrive, or for me, I'd like to call myself a thriver instead of a survivor. You look at the definition of thrive, it's about growing vigorously and flourishing and being successful. And this story for me feels much better within my body when I'm telling it, rather than just simply coping with difficulties in life. For me, I want to thrive. I want to move forward, and I want to um, acknowledge the things that I've experienced that made me feel, or that I chose to feel a victim in, or that I felt I needed to be a survivor in my past, and to move into more of a thriving mode in my future and in the present moment, more importantly. Because in the present moment, as we choose to tell this different story of thriving or a thriver, that we're able to then recreate how we have perceived our past. We can acknowledge it, we can see where we've been, and we can also acknowledge how it has helped us to move forward into the person that we are today and into the person that we continue to become. For me, being in a thriving mode means that I am uplifting not just myself, but the planet and all of its inhabitants, because I see us all as one being, one light, one energy, one source. We're all from this one source. And if one of us is feeling down or one of us is in that survivor mode, we are all experiencing it on some unconscious level. We are feeling it on some unconscious level. Some of us very consciously, and that's why life seems to be quite difficult nowadays for most of us to move through on a mental and emotional level. So, how do we take care of ourselves in a different way? How do we choose to let go of the victim or survivor mode that a lot of us are moving through life in? Self care, self love. How are we taking care of ourselves? Do we take a bath once a week with Epsom salt and nice lavender oil? Do we take ourselves out to dinner and do something nice for ourselves without expecting someone else to do it for us? Do we ever tell ourselves that we love ourselves in the mirror? Never understood why this concept seemed so strange. We're always looking outside of ourselves for someone to tell us that they love us and approve of us and feel good with us. Why don't we do it for ourselves more often? Why is it considered strange to look at ourselves in the mirror and say it from a place of the heart? Not to be egoic and saying, wow, you're amazing and you're better than everybody else. It's not about that. It's about really looking deep into your eyes and saying how much you truly love yourself, just as you would do for your partner or your child or someone that you really, really care for. Why don't we do it for ourselves? It's a good question to ask. And how does it make our heart feel when we actually do say these things to ourselves and look ourselves deeply in the eyes? At first, it might feel awkward. At first, it might feel weird and or not very resonant just because we're not used to doing it. But how do we create a new habit in our lives? We practice. We practice it until it becomes the new habit and replaces the old habit that's not serving us anymore. Everything that we've experienced, everything that we've chosen to create in our lives has a purpose. We have learned something from every single experience. We have taken something from every single experience. Even if we've repeated it over and over again, we take something new from it each time. There is no timeline on this learning or growing or evolving. It's different for each person. No need to compare yourself with anybody else. Simply have an experience, remembering that all the decisions that we make simply lead to experiences. So when we're making those decisions, it's important to be aware of where we're coming from. Are we coming from a place of love or not? Are we coming from a place of fear? Are we coming from the heart or are we coming from the head? Remembering that in the mind, the ego is there. And as I've said before in my videos, the mind is really only good for solving math equations and driving the car. When we're dealing with emotions, we don't want to think things through. We want to feel. We want to feel how our body is feeling. What are the messages coming from our body below the head? Our bodies are giving us messages all the time. Most times we're not listening, or we're ignoring, or we're denying. How can we listen more closely? How can we be more in tune with our own bodies? Well, we can ask ourselves throughout our day. We can remember to take deep breaths throughout our day as well, and pay attention to if we're blinking or not in front of that computer screen. How often we tell ourselves that we are okay, reminding and validating our own feelings. How can we move forward in a more confident and powerful way? Not to be powerful over others, just to simply be in our power. Simply be in our power. What does that look like for you? Maybe practicing envisioning what this looks like for you each morning when you wake up and get out of bed. Maybe it's something you practice envisioning while you're still lying in bed before you get up and start your day. Really see what that means for you in your mind, and maybe allow your mind to show you what you and your power looks like. And as it does, be present in that vision, and then drop yourself into that vision. Feel your way into it. What does it feel like to be in that picture you've now seen in your mind and created in your mind that is power for you, that is confidence with love for you? Being in our power is loving ourselves, setting healthy boundaries, speaking our truth from the heart in the most loving way. Not to say we need to be a doormat. This is not necessary, and it's not our truth in the first place. We can tell anybody anything. We can share anything with anybody when we come from the heart, and they will receive it. They will receive it well. Maybe not at first, and they'll consider it. When we're letting go of these old hurts and these old frustrations and these old abuses that we've experienced, these people that we've experienced them with, it's important for us to start with ourselves, to look within and see why we might be holding on to things still, and how is it serving us now? It has served us to this point, and how is it serving us moving forward? How long do we stay in the proverbial shit pool? How long do we swim around in it until we realize it's us stinking up the room because we're holding on to all these thoughts and beliefs that no longer serve us, these experiences that no longer serve us, that don't empower us? How do I choose to be more empowered in my life? By doing some of the things I suggested. I don't suggest things without practicing them myself. Am I successful at doing it every day? No. That's okay. Do I beat myself up for not doing it every day? Sometimes, yes. Do I feel guilty about things and not doing them right away? Yes. And there's a process. We take a moment, we acknowledge what we're feeling, because that's really what we want someone else to do for us. Why don't we just do it for ourselves first? Acknowledge every feeling, because every feeling is valid. And as you acknowledge that feeling and validate yourself, you welcome that feeling, good, bad, or indifferent. You welcome up that feeling and you sit with it. You bring it within, you feel it, and you be okay with it. And then you take a few deep breaths and let it go with the breath. And then envision whatever belief or thought or pattern or habit that's not serving you anymore, just envision it lovingly evaporating from your body. Envision yourself lovingly releasing it from your body. Finding forgiveness. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Are you able to see the person that you wish to forgive in front of you and cut the cords with them and lovingly give them back their power? Because when we truly are in a state of unconditional love, it is for everything and all things. Are we able to find this compassion within us for all beings? I believe it's possible, and I believe this is how we change the world, one person at a time, one thought at a time, one action at a time. I believe that our actions and our thoughts are rippling out into this universe that is infinite and endless, as are our thoughts and our actions. And I feel like if we're made of the same things as the atmosphere and the stars and the planets and the universe, and if the universe is infinite and wide and never ending, then we must be too. That's how I choose to see it. That's how I choose to see our energy moving out into the universe and into the world. This ripple effect. What are you rippling out into the world? Are you coming from the heart or from the mind? Check in with yourself throughout the day. Surround yourself with people who are uplifting. Surround yourself with people who are of the same mindset in bringing more love into this world, in being more loving with themselves in this world, in order to be more loving with others. Walking past that mirror in the morning or when you're getting ready and saying, I love you to yourself and validating yourself. Being present and honoring yourself and acknowledging the worthiness of all your heart's desires and the possibility of creating all of them in this lifetime. And if not in this one, the next. Setting goals and thriving. Letting go of the old stories of surviving and victim. Not to say they did not serve you and that they haven't served you to this point. Maybe they don't serve you anymore. Maybe there's a new story to tell. You are the actor, writer, director, and producer of this life. Make some different choices. Be confident in those choices. And be around people who are doing the same. If you have any questions or you want to share your comments, please do so here. I'd love to hear from you and I'd love to have a conversation. If you're on a healing journey and you've had an awakening and you're at the point where you want to do things different, I'm here. I'm able to support you. You can find me at agadaenergyhealing.com. That's AGADA energyhealing.com. And you can email me at jnidefer@hotmail.com. Facebook, Instagram, it's all the same. Jnidefer, JNEIDEFFER. You can find me there. I'd love to hear from you. Be well.